Hello and welcome back to Beeroquest and Winecraft. Things have moved on a little bit since the last segment. But we're going to hear some more about the ghosts, so you might want to be very careful if you're someone who's easily scared and cowardly.
Beeroquest and Winecraft.
I think I might need a stiff drink, to be honest with you.
We need some whiskey.
So, okay, Suzanne, here we go.
Well, which story would you like to hear? Because there are many.
Should we go for the scariest?
There's quite a few scary ones. We have lots of people that come in here that obviously are mediums, or they often tell us that there's people that are following us. Quite often I get asked, do you know that there's a man following behind you, or different things like that. So we've become quite accustomed to those sort of things now. There is nothing bad about any of the ghosts that are here. They all seem to be really, really positive and happy and kind. So let's get that very, very reassurance at the moment. We've been told that we have a demobbed World War One.
Oh, wow.
Battalion here that are sitting there. Apparently they are very, very happy that the energy is back in the pub. They like watching everybody having a nice time and supping up their beer. So they were all of the men that did return from World War One came to the village. They had a group photograph in the village hall, which there is a photograph of it. And they all then came down to the pub afterwards. So many of them were joined by their fallen colleagues that have not returned, very sadly, and they all wait in the pub. So we quite often, you can hear sort of footprints and people moving around when we know that there is nobody else in the pub. So that's quite disconcerting. And quite often when we're here and there is no noise, we definitely hear there's doors that open, there's movement across the floors, upstairs as well. We will always hear people, and there is absolutely nobody else in the pub. We did have a blessing for the pub when we had closed due to the well. There was some people that felt that they could feel negative energy they felt that there was 4 school children that had gone into the well a long while ago. I know, it's quite. Well, when we were told about it, we were a little bit anxious. So to put everybody's mind at rest, it was suggested that we had the pub blessed. What we didn't realise at the time was that the CCTV was still running. So when we looked afterwards, because we had holy water, we had fire, and we also had sort of like the water and some rosemary. So we had a very kind person that does blessings come out, and we all stood at the back and we all stood around. It turned out that we had to have it on Easter Sunday. So it was at 4:00. It was the same time as the clocks had also changed. So it was very, very early. And as we were doing the blessing, the sun came out. And it was an extraordinary. We've got the footage of it actually, and it was a very lovely thing. So we went round to all the rooms and everything was blessed. So we do feel that everybody's quite happy. Any spirits that are here are very, very happy to be here. But one really, really. It seems funny now, but at the time it was very, very scary. We had some workmen here, and they were talking about the ghosts. Again, this is connected with the well. And they were saying, we don't think that there's such a thing as ghosts here. And as they said it, they had a spirit level leaning up against
very
the
appropriate.
wall. Yes, actually, that's a good point. That was really, really quick. I never thought about that. But it was a spirit level leaning up against the wall, and it literally went flying across the room, and everyone was, oh my goodness, what on earth's going on? So everybody was frozen, thinking that was a little bit of a coincidence, because how did it get from here? Literally flew across the room. And as that happened, and everyone was going, oh, that was really strange, suddenly all of these explosions were going off. And everybody literally panicked, and I've never seen workmen move so fast. They actually ran past us outside, and what had happened was all of the beer bottles that were inside had fermented and suddenly exploded.
Oh wow.
And as they exploded, off came the corks. They smashed. They also hit the tap. So the tap water was going everywhere. The corks had gone everywhere. The beer was going everywhere. And the spirit level had fallen over. And everybody ran out. So we don't know. We still don't know what happened there. But that was at the time. Yeah, we were still standing there because we felt quite safe. But it was quite strange that obviously the workmen were suddenly moving a lot quicker than I'd ever seen them work, or ever seen them move as well. It was abandoned ship, and there was nothing about women and children first. They literally ran out really quickly. But that was quite strange because they were just saying, "Oh, we don't believe in ghosts. There's no such thing." And if ever there was a sign, that was it.
Yeah. I mean, I've no doubt that a lot of this, that there is reality here, and
there's got to be energy, I think.
Yeah,
because
something's going on here.
There's so many people. Because Henry Bavey, who was the landlord here for many, many years, he never had a day off. He actually died in this room here because he'd.
I'm getting a bit scared
I know,
again.
don't worry. He may still be. Just don't sit on his lap. He'd never had any time off that particular morning. He came down and he said to his wife, "I don't feel very well." They called the village doctor, and he came out and said, "You need to rest." And with that, he went.
Oh, gosh.
So that was literally, and the public bar obviously is really old, because there used to be a wall here. So this was called the confessional. So the public and the locals all were in that bar. Here was, if you weren't local, they'd all stare at you as you came in the door, and you had to walk all the way round and come in that door. So you came into this bit. If there was anything going on a little bit contretemps, or this was here. So this was called the
Scandalous stuff. Oh gosh.
Yeah. And on the other side was where all the A-listers used to come, because Peter O'Toole used to live quite
that's true.
local.
That's
yeah,
true, is it?
absolutely true.
Okay.
Yeah. So they used to go into the cocktail bar, which is the Stretfield Room, and they were wined and dined with champagne and cocktails, and then taken out to the restaurant out the back, and the locals were in there, and this was tourists and visitors, and each bar had a different price for the same thing.
Okay.
Of course.
Sensible.
Yeah. So it was, the good old days.
Let me guess, it was a lot cheaper for the rich and famous.
Of course it was. Champagne was very cheap in those days. So, yeah, but I think there's all sorts of different energies here, but they're all very nice ones.
Yes, but some of them have been put down to Dave, who's been helping as well. But anyway, we won't go into further. But on that note, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and don't be afraid to pop into the Castle Inn Chiddingstone if you're not scared of ghosts.